Welcome back to Microbial Concepts. So today we are going to discuss about casein, very important protein from milk that we get, and this is the second part of dairy microbiology. Okay, so we are going to just discuss about casein today. Okay, so let's start. So we know that milk is a mixture of many types of proteins. Most of them are present in very small amounts. So milk proteins, they are classified into three main groups of proteins. So on the basis of their widely different behavior and form of existence. So they are casein, the major protein, 80%. Then you get whey proteins and minor proteins. Okay, so out of these, the casein and the whey protein has importance in dairy microbiology or in dairy industry. Okay, so casein is a heterogeneous mixture. Okay, it is not a homogeneous mixture, it is heterogeneous mixture of phosphorus containing proteins in milk. So casein is present in milk as calcium salt and calcium caseinate. Okay, it is essential ingredient of cheese, or we can say cheese industry. Okay, so that is why we are focusing just on casein. Okay, you should know what are the properties of casein and how it is precipitated. Okay, so that is why a separate video for casein. So pure casein is an amorphous white solid without taste or odor, means no smell. So commercial casein is slightly yellow with a pleasant odor. It is a mixture of alpha, beta and kappa casein to form a cluster called micelles or micelles. These micelles are responsible for the white opaque appearance of milk. So what are the clusters which are called as micelles or micelles, that we will see in next slide. Okay, just remember this word. So casein, like other proteins, are made up of many hundreds of individual amino acids, right? We know that proteins are made up of a chain of amino acids. So that is how casein is also made. So each may have a positive or a negative charge depending on the pH of milk. At some pH value, all the positive charges and all the negative charges on the casein will be in balance, so that the net charge on the protein will be 0. Okay, so when you proceed for some processes or for reactions where you want to precipitate casein, you may get a pH value where all the charges, positive charges and negative charges, are in balance, and there is a net charge on protein that is 0. Okay, so that particular pH, what we just discussed in previous slide, so that particular pH value is known as isoelectric point, IEP, of the protein, and it's generally the pH at which the protein is least soluble. Okay, so protein, the one which we are talking here, is casein. It will be least soluble. That means we can precipitate it. Okay, so for casein, the isoelectric point is approximately 4.6, and it is the pH value at which the acid casein is precipitated. Okay, you got my point? So that is the pH value. The isoelectric point is the pH value where the protein is least soluble. That means it can be precipitated. In milk, which has a pH of about 6.6, the casein micelles or micelles uh, have a net negative charge and are quite stable. Okay, so during the addition of acid to milk, the negative charge on the outer surface of the micelles or micelles, they are neutralized. The phosphate groups are protonated, and the neutral protein, it gets precipitated. Neutral protein, no net charge, so it is neutral, so it gets precipitated on the addition of acid. When the pH is 6.6, it will the pH will get lowered, and it will help in precipitation of the protein. The same principle applies when milk is fermented to curd. Okay, so the lactic acid bacillus, which produces lactic acid as the major metabolic end product of the carbohydrates. Lactose is the sugar or the carbohydrate which is present in milk. So they will metabolize this particular carbohydrate or this particular sugar, and they will produce lactic acid as their end product. So this lactic acid which is produced, it lowers the pH of milk to the isoelectric point of casein, and at this pH casein will precipitate. Okay, and this is how milk is fermented to curd, right? So this is the small basic principle behind curd. So yeah, this is the diagram where you can see casein, micelles or micelles are explained. Okay, so we will move towards that. The casein component of milk is relatively heat stable. It is capable of surviving pasteurization temperature. In milk, casein exists as a calcium salt arranged in micellar particles surrounded by soluble kappa casein. Okay, so these are micellar particles which are surrounded by kappa casein, okay, particles which are outside. The casein of the micelles are held together by the calcium ion and hydrophobic interaction. Okay, so the casein in the micelles are held together by calcium ions and hydrophobic interactions. Okay, so here you can see chymosin, which is nothing but rennin. Okay, it is the another name for rennin enzyme. So this particular enzyme, it will cleave kappa casein's exterior. Okay, and this was a single micelle. Now due to the cleavage of kappa casein, what happens, these micelles, they start coagulating. Okay, and this is what you observe, cheese curd or curd formation. Okay, so this is the principle. So casein is a complex of 4 proteins. Inside casein micelles is hydrophobic and wants to separate from water. So calcium clusters and protein bound phosphate groups hold together proteins inside structure. The end of the kappa casein on the surface of the micelle is hydrophilic, so that is why kappa casein you find it on the outer side. The kappa casein hydrophilic end is coated in sugar. The sugars and phosphate groups are added to the protein by enzymes after the proteins are expressed. Okay, so this was about how cheese curd or curd formation or casein precipitation takes place. So this was by the mechanism of enzyme. Okay, enzymatic precipitation. Example is here rennin or chymosin cleavage of kappa casein. Right? Don't confuse, because we are going to study about 3 different types of precipitations. So first is about acid precipitation. So casein can be precipitated with the help of organic as well as with the help of inorganic acids. So this method is generally used for manufacturing of curd in many industries. So this fermented dairy product is prepared with the help of lactic acid bacteria, example Lactobacillus, Streptococcus, Leuconostoc species, etc. So actually there are 2 types of lactic acid bacteria. Okay, you should know this. So homofermentive lactic acid bacteria, they will produce just one end product, that is lactic acid. But heterofermentative lactic acid bacteria, they produce end products like lactic acid plus some amount of acetic acid plus some amount of ethanol plus some amount of CO2. So this is where this is the fermentation type which you find in case of idli batter or dhokla batter, okay, which gives a spongy texture, right? And the homofermentative type of fermentation you find in case of curd. Okay, so homofermentative lactic acid bacteria, they ferment lactose, the carbohydrate which is present, sugar which is present in milk, with the end product of lactic acid. So under influence of this organic acid, casein will precipitate. Lactic acid produced during fermentation reacts with the calcium caseinate, forming calcium lactate and casein. Okay, so the lactic acid will react with the calcium caseinate, then it will form calcium lactate and the casein will get separated and it will get precipitated also. So lactic acid reacts with magnesium caseinate also, which forms magnesium lactate, and again casein gets precipitated. So as a result, curd obtained by this method has poor content of minerals, especially calcium and magnesium, because they are now bound with the lactate, calcium lactate. Okay. Next is about enzymatic precipitation. So we had already studied this in short in the previous slides, so we will just cover this quickly. So this kind of precipitation is brought by using enzyme called renin. Okay, don't get confused between the rennet and the renin. Renin is the enzyme which is also known as chymosin. Okay, and the extract or the complex set of enzymes is known as rennet, which contains chymosin as main enzyme. Then some amount of pepsin is present and some amount of lipase is present. Okay, so this um, extract is called as rennet. This is very effective in precipitating kappa caseins, right? We had seen that in the previous slide where there was a diagram. Okay, you can go back and you can refer that if you are still confused. So this form of casein contains naturally occurring carbohydrate called sialic acid. Yes, it is named as sialic acid, but it is carbohydrate. It is an acidic sugar with 9 carbon in structure. Okay, so this carbohydrate, it interferes with the precipitation of kappa casein. The enzyme, that is renin, hydrolyzes these peptide bonds which hold sialic acid. As a result, it helps in the precipitation of casein. So curd obtained by this method is rich in minerals because there is no loss of calcium and magnesium. This method of casein precipitation is used in cheese manufacturing industry to prepare certain variety of cheese. Okay, so this was about enzymatic precipitation. So one more point I would like to add here is how renin is extracted. So actually renin is enzyme which is secreted into the stomach of unweaned mammals, causing the curdling of milk. So unweaned mammals means um, infants which are still under lactation. So for example, a calf means baby infant of cow. So it is extracted from the stomach of calf. Okay, because still the animal, the infant is still under lactation. So there the this enzyme will be present which will cause the curdling of milk. Okay, so that is how renin is extracted. Next is about alcohol precipitation. So alcohol, or for example ethanol, it acts as dehydrating agent. It removes the water from casein and this results in the precipitation of casein. Very simple principle behind alcohol precipitation. Okay, the precipitation is calcium caseinate, the same form as it exists in milk. Okay, so it will just precipitate as calcium caseinate. Okay, so this was about casein and methods for casein precipitation. Okay, so if you get a short note or a question just on types of precipitation, casein precipitation, or write a short note on casein and types of precipitation, then I hope you can now write, you can form an answer and you can write your answer in your exam and you can score good marks. Okay, so like, share and subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching. And please suggest some topics or mention some topics which you find difficult and you want a video on those topics, so you can comment in comment box. Okay, or you can reach out to me by Gmail directly. You will also get my Gmail ID in comment box. Okay, sorry, description box. So thank you for watching. Till then, bye bye.